Hey everybody, Roger Hill with Snake Pit here, and it is inoculation time. So we have a strain of Enoki mushroom. These grow really tall and thin. I've seen people kind of do different things, a couple of different ways to cook them, but before we get into that, I just wanted to talk about how we sterilize and prep everything before we start the inoculation of the jars here. So before we actually begin, or I could just talk and work, or, well, I don't know, I might need my hands too much to talk, so. I use wide mouth canning jars just because it's a personal preference. Standard mouth work fine too, regulars, those are fine. Quart size seem to go good. We take the jar lids and then use a hole punch and just punch 2 holes. Now, these are called self-healing injection ports. We put one on. This is just micropore tape like you would use for bandages like Next Care or something like that at Walgreens. And this is just to let the mycelium breathe. So we just use new jars that are clean. I give them kind of a steam bath to sterilize them. We take our popcorn and we take 3 jars full, unpopped. We bring about 1.5 gallons of water to a boil, add our popcorn to it. We simmer for about an hour. Let's see if I can find some here that are a little more hydrated. There we go. You can see it's a little bit more hydrated. That's what we're going for. So we simmer them for an hour, take them out, put it in a colander, drain off the water, and then kind of continue to scoop and rotate in the colander to wick off the excess moisture. Once it's kind of cooled, and we just do a blotting test where we throw a few kernels on some paper towel, and if it doesn't really leave any dampness at all, we fill up our jars about this full, personal preference. Some go a little bit higher. I like to leave room to shake the jars to spread around mycelium when it starts to grow. So we'll fill our jars about this full. Put our lids and bands on. Cover this with a piece of aluminum foil so we don't get any moisture in here. And then we steam sterilize these jars for 2 hours and let them cool overnight. And then it's time to start this process. So, on to the next task at hand. So, that's just a real quick rundown on that. It's just plain old popcorn. I prefer the white popcorn. I don't know why. I think the kernels are a little bit smaller, so I feel like I probably get a little more surface area in each jar. That's probably just my dorkiness, but still. I could just, shake the crap out of this and kind of spread it around. So we have 6 jars. Your syringe is going to be about 10 mil usually. So we're going to do about 1.5 per, I think, in each one. And it should do it. We will put the jars, first I'm going to use my little atomizer and isopropyl down my hands. we'll incubate the mycelium about 78 degrees. And from the little bit of reading I've done on the Enoki mushroom, never have grown them, never have propagated them. They like it a bit cooler, which, you know, great. We're in November in little Duluth, Minnesota here. So that will be perfect to grow in the basement, I think. Let's do a tub. And I believe, so I've heard, right, that you can do them on, here, before I get sidetracked again. Here's the species. Anyway, just wanted to show you that real quick. So we'll incubate the mycelium, and then I fruit them probably in the basement. They can be grown on hardwood, you know, hardwood pellets. So I imagine I could use aspen wood shavings, just like I have in the past with, I'm just giving everything a wipe down with isopropyl. I could probably grow them on aspen wood shavings like I have in the past. They were elm oyster mushroom that we had done. I'm just going to leave this right there. Now, I'm going to flame sterilize this. So I think what we might do, because they grow very long and slender. I don't know if you can hear the little torch here. I'm just sterilizing the needle. I'll show you after I get this jar done here what we do. Throw that. Sometimes you can, let's see what happens. Nutrient content, come on. There you go. There it is. So we just want to spread around, some of that. And this will close. It closes on itself when you remove the needle. So that's one done. I just put that aside so I remember. And if I don't know what else I was saying, I forgot already. Shocker. Oh, yeah. Long, slender mushroom. I don't know if they're gonna, I think that I would probably be better off to grow them in like a monotub kind of setup than to try to fruit them out of elm oysters, or as I did the elm oyster mushrooms out of the side of a bucket. I guess I can poke around a little bit more and see what everybody says. There's also a local friend on Instagram, Zenith Mushrooms. Check her out. Cool stuff. Local. She does a lot of gourmet mushrooms. She's at the farmer's market. No, I said I was going to show you this. I guess I'll show you on the next jar here. Yep. So I removed, as you can see, I removed the label so I can take a look. I didn't do too bad. That's at 9. And I have 5 quart jars and a pint jar. So that's a work. So we'll just kind of go along the sides a little bit. Here, I'll show you. I just have the plunger like that, and I'll rotate this way as I inject the spores. And I just try to keep kind of half an eye on the amount I'm using. That was way too much because I was talking as usual. But no matter, we have others. I'm going to speed up the rest of these and not bore you with watching. Since I overshot that last one, what I'll do, we've got 4 of these. 1.5 mil will be 6, which leaves 1, which I'll use on this pint-sized one right now. Now we just label and date the jars and put them in the incubator. What is the date? It's the 5th, right? I don't know. Close enough. And there are our Enokis. And we will check on these. Oh, I don't know. Give them a week and see what they do. Then they may need to be shaken a bit. Break the mycelium. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, as usual. Yeah. So this will kind of conclude part 1. Going to label these, or finish labeling them, and put them in the incubator that I use for the snake eggs, because these do great at like 78. I think 3 weeks and they'll be ready to be put to a substrate, and then we can fruit them. So we'll post part 2 later on. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit like, you know, the usual. Appreciate it though.